Yeah, well, what are my next handful of videos going to be on? Yes, you guessed it. How to paint a bathroom like a professional. And I'm almost done, and I'm making some other videos to add to this, but I'll show you how to paint the ceiling, make it look like a professional did it, and how to paint the walls, how to prep everything, how to do all of that. So if that's what you want to watch, stick around. This will be the preview of that video series. Oh, and I see the painting out. I know there's work involved. Now, what is this video all about? I've got if you were with me the other day, you would have seen that I painted these bathroom walls, and I did it with a little 9-inch mini roller. You got to check that video out. It didn't really take me that long, and I got it nice and straight up along there. Didn't get anything anywhere on the ceilings or on the door frames or anything. But now you see that it's going to be time to start cutting in. And on this particular video, I am just only going to be showing you how to cut in the ceiling. And if you were with me the other day watching me paint these walls, I think I said I would show you how to cut in without really having that much knowledge about having to cut in, and without really cutting in per se, to where you've got to do it really super close. So I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. And what I'm saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in the ceilings, and I'm going to cut in above that tile. And if you notice along that tile, there's grout there. You see that? There's a line of grout right up there. How am I going to cut in next to that? Well, I'm not a professional painter, and you don't have to be either. I would normally cut this in with a cut-in paintbrush and take my time with it and stuff. But see, it's right up next to that grout line, and I want to keep that grout line there. And I want it to be nice and straight, and I want to do this to where somebody else, you as a matter of fact, can do this without that much knowledge. So that's why I am going to mask this off. I'm going to tape this all off, and I'm going to use masking tape, and I'm going to put that up there so that I don't have to be really that careful when I start putting on this paint. And if you've never cut in before, hey, I'm going to show you how we're going to do it by using masking tape, okay? And you know, in the old days, this was the only type of masking tape they had, right? And I've got some more masking tape, and I think I'm going to use that. Well, nowadays they generally use the blue tape, and that's really better. It's designed to not have your paint bleed through there. Well, I don't have enough of that, do I? And I'm going to save that for something else. I'm not even going to use the blue, and I'm not going to go back to the store and buy some more blue tape. But the blue tape, believe it or not, is probably twice as expensive, maybe more than twice as expensive as buying regular masking tape. And this is all I've got, and this is all I am going to use. And I'm going to do this and show you how to do that here in a minute. Okay, so my paint on the ceiling is white, and I need to cut that in all the way along the side. And after I put the masking tape up, I'm going to do the ceiling. I'm not going to be, you know, I need to get it as straight as I can, and your tape line, your cut-in line, is only as good as your masking tape when you put it on there. So, you know, is there a right and wrong way to do anything? Pretty much, yeah, there is. And I'll show you how to put the masking tape on in the right way. Now here's one other thing that I'm going to end up having to do, and I don't know if I'm going to make a separate video of it or not. I'm going to end up having to paint this door frame, and I'm only going to, and see, this is white too, so when I have the white paint out, I'm going to get the ceiling all done first, and then I want to come down here and I want to paint this. Now before we moved in to the condo, I was pretty sure that I was going to be able to paint. I was going to do all the painting, get all the carpet down, do everything I needed to do before we moved in. And that included the bathrooms. And so I had pulled all the bathrooms apart, and I was going to get all that painted and everything. And then I ran out of time. We changed our mind on some things, and we decided to get moved in here in a little bit quicker time. So when I got ready to paint all the door frames and stuff, I thought, I'm going to do the bathrooms later. So when I painted all the door frames initially, I painted them all to here, and I didn't paint any more. I didn't go from here over, because normally when I paint door casings, I'll do it with the white paint, and I'll get a little bit on the wall, let's say, and I won't have to worry. I don't really worry about cutting this in exactly. And then I come back after I do the walls the same way, and then I'll cut the wall into the casing. Well, because I didn't do the bathrooms, I just finished the door frames out to about here. So now I've got to paint from here to there. Not only that, I want to get a nice straight line up against the wall, and I got to do that same thing at the top edge. And when I paint this side of the door frame, obviously I can't get the edge over there, so I'm just going to go the white from here over to there and blend it and recut it in just on this face, because this edge has already been done. When I painted this edge, I went over to about here, see? So now all I have to go is from here to there, but on the top I'm going to go from here to there, but I'm going to paint the top edge. And when I do this, I'm going to go from here to there, but I'm going to do this edge over here. Do I really have to paint that edge, you know, with new paint? Yeah. I mean, you don't really have to, but I'm going to, because everything else I painted that way, and I want, you know, it's just a little bit of pride in my work to make sure that I've done the whole thing. You know what I mean? And so when I have the masking tape out, I could cut this in and be real careful with that and stuff, but it's going to be kind of tricky to get it down in there without getting it on the wall and stuff. And I really don't want to get it on the wall as much, because when I get the white paint on here, then when I'm doing the gray, I've only got one coat of paint on here with the roller. If I get too much white on here, then I have to cut in twice, because my gray paint won't necessarily cover in one coat on here if I have some white semi-gloss paint on there too, because the other color was that tan. Does that make sense? Hopefully I'm not confusing you there. So when I put the masking tape up all the way around, I'm going to finish, and I'm going to do it around the edge of the door frame at the top and the side, as well as I'll pull this back and I'll put some masking tape on the floor right in here, and probably along the edge of the base right there, just so I don't get anything on there. That way I can do it. And you know what? I'll probably end up taking this strike plate off too, so I can get this edge all the way through there. Or, well, I mean, I probably could leave it and be careful, but because when I painted this initially, I painted over and probably went over to there, so I probably could leave that if I want, or I can take it off. I'm not quite sure what I'll do just yet, but see, that's all I'm going to concentrate on. When you look at your project for a whole bathroom and stuff, you got lots of stuff to do. Painting the whole ceiling, then cutting it in, then painting the walls, cutting that in, and around the toilet, around the tile, around the sink, around the light switches and stuff, and I'll mess with that after I get done with the ceiling. I'm not even gonna worry about anything. And because I'm in a bathroom, I took the door off, I took the hinges off, I got that all set over there. That's already been painted from before, and I don't want that in my way. And you know, you just take this little bathroom one step at a time, because see, I got all this stuff all around here, and all I did first is I concentrated on doing the ceiling section. Then after that dried, and I had to put 2 coats up there. And after that dried, then I concentrated on just the walls. Okay, now I'm gonna go back up. Now that all that's dry and the ceiling's dry, now I'll come back and do the cut-in for the ceiling. And when all that's done, then I'll come back, wait for the ceiling to be dry all the way, then I'll come back and figure out how to get the rest of the walls done, whether or not I'm gonna put masking tape up there on the ceiling that I've just painted, or if I'm gonna cut that in with the paintbrush without putting any masking tape up. Well, I'll have to figure that out to see how well this masking tape, this masking tape is kind of a test to see how well I can get it up there and do this whole thing, because I think I told you before, I'm going to show you how to do this without having to have any special knowledge about how to use a cut-in paintbrush and how not to get it on the walls and all that kind of stuff, because you know, I could cut this in pretty good and have it look acceptable without putting any masking tape. But I'm going to do the masking tape, show you how to do it that way, in case you're really not, you know, you're probably going to be a beginner or an intermediate person who's watching this video. You're not going to be somebody who knows how to cut in. If you know how to cut in, you know how to paint, you're not watching this video anyways, right? And so you're watching this because you want to learn how to do it and how to make it look like a painter's project and how to make it look like a professional, even though you're not a professional, right? That's why you're watching these videos, okay? So my next step is I've got to clean this up a little bit, get my little ladder out, and I just use my little step ladder like this. This works really good. Nice wide steps. Don't use one with little ones because you're going to twist your ankle on it. This is a nice easy one to use, and I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'm going to get up there and put masking tape on.